Week 7 of the Texas high school football season is upon us, which means that every team that is in, or not every team, but most teams that find themselves in 5-team districts, or 6-team districts, 7-team districts, may be taking a bye week. Mm-hmm. One of those teams that's off this week that we figured we might as well bother him. We're calling out to the Mustang Bowl. I assume he's answering I just assume that everyone answers their phone at the Mustang Bowl.
At the Mustang Bowl.
In Sweetwater. I presume that's the only place you can pick up the phone there. He's the head coach of the 6-0 Sweetwater Mustangs. We are joined by Coach Ben McGehee. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing great. Appreciate you guys having me on.
Are you talking to us from the Mustang Bowl?
I'm right outside of it. Yes, sir. I'm in between the Mustang Bowl and our field house.
Exactly.
Know exactly where he is.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Exactly right. Well, Coach, you guys are off to a hot start, a 6-0 start. Everything seems to be clicking for you guys. I know that you look up and down your schedule. There have been a mix of teams that you probably should beat, and a couple teams that are some feathers in your cap. Overall, through your first 6 games, how do you think you would assess what your team has done?
I think they've done a great job, learning both new schemes offensively and defensively. Our kids have really progressed well with both sides, and we're just continuing, we're pressing our guys to just get better each and every day and every week as we go through each game. And we've done a great job executing game plans, and so far I'm really pleased with what I've seen.
I want to ask you about that because you entered a situation there. You're in your first year, for those who don't know. Coach McGehee's in his first year out there in Sweetwater, taking over a program that went to a state championship game last year and gave West Orange Shark, in a lot of respects, everything that they could handle. You're taking on a program that doesn't need a ton of fixing, but at the same time, you do have your own style, you have your own schemes. So how do you balance that between installing things that you want to do with this program and putting your mark on it, while also balancing the fact that, hey, this thing's coming along pretty well, and these kids know what they're doing?
Oh, absolutely. They've done some good things in the past, and so all we came in and just kind of put our own kind of twist and stamp on things. And as far as off season and all that goes in the spring, and then went forward from there. And it's nice we have a few of the leaders back. They lost quite a few kids off that team from last year, but we have some of the nucleus of it back, and those guys have done a great job being leaders for the younger guys who maybe didn't have so much varsity playing experience from that season last year. But anytime a team goes 16 weeks, you get so much extra practice with your younger guys and with your JV, and so you're able to kind of get ahead of some other places. And I think that's kind of shown early because we have quite a few guys, especially on the offensive and defensive line, that have very little playing experience at the varsity, and those kids have really done well. And I think that's a tribute to those 6 extra weeks that they got at practice last year. And so I'm really proud of how we've been able to come in, and the guys have taken what we've done and ran with it, and it's been a pretty smooth transition in that aspect. And we're just looking to try to continue to get better.
What do you think's been the biggest change that you've implemented in your admittedly short time there? You've only been there since February. What's the biggest change you think you've implemented in that program?
Probably our off season has been was the biggest difference. That a lot of the schemes, some of it is similar. I'm not going to say it's the same. Offensively, we do some things obviously that are a little different than most people, and so probably those two things, and we're still played a lot of 4-man front last year, and so some of that's going to be similar. We're still a 4-man front on defense, and so there's some more similarities probably defensively than there is offensively, and so probably our offensive style, the way we play, and then our off-season stuff are probably the two biggest.
We're talking with Ben McGehee, the head coach of the 6-0 Sweetwater Mustangs here on Texas Football Today. Get involved in the conversation, #TF Today. Coach, things certainly, you can't necessarily be complaining about inheriting a quarterback like Chris Thompson, a guy who has state championship game experience, not to mention the numbers he's put up this year are stupid. They really are. He's completing 76% of his passes. He's already over 2,000 yards. You're the guy who gets to see him every day in practice. What stands out to you about a guy like Chris Thompson?
I think his coachability. He's a very coachable kid, and he listens to direction and instruction very well, and then is able to transition that onto the football field. And that and his leadership, at practice every day and things like that, I think have stood out to me the most.
The other guy who really stands out on this team is Kobe Clark,
Yes, sir.
who is already over 1,000 yards receiving, and of the 28 touchdown passes that Chris Thompson has thrown, he has been on the receiving end of 18 of them already. How many plays do you have that are just like get the ball to Kobe?
I mean, and a lot of it's not designed. A lot of it Chris has got options on, and so. Fortunately, Kobe's we've been able to get him in some pretty good matchups and play at fast enough tempo that, teams aren't able to get set and do a whole bunch of stuff to us defensively. And so I think that simplifies, what people can do to you sometimes and helps us out and helps us be able to get the ball to spread it around a little bit. And I think Chris has thrown a touchdown pass to 6 different guys, I believe. So that's pretty impressive in itself.
And then on the other side, the thing that stands out about your defense is you look up and down this roster, and you got a lot of seniors at the top. Guys like Keontae McCoy, Mason Maxwell, Kurt Wetzel, Isaac Alvarez. A lot of guys in the seniors. How important are these seniors to your defense in what you're trying to do and where you're going from here?
Oh, that part has been extremely big for us, having those guys on defense, because especially we have a lot of senior leadership, including Kobe. Kobe's on that side as well. He starts at safety, and so they've done a great job, especially in the back end. Like I said, our D line is all brand new, so having that leadership and that experience in the back end has simplified things for us a little bit, and those guys are able to make adjustments that that some other people might not be able to make. Some younger kids, and so we're gonna take that, and now that we've kind of got some of the basic stuff installed, we'll start adding some stuff on both sides of the ball at this point, and try to get ready to make the push to the playoffs.
We're talking with Ben McGehee, the head coach of the unbeaten Sweetwater Mustangs here on Texas Football Today. Get involved in the conversation, #TF Today. And Coach, you mentioned the push for the playoffs. It really starts in earnest coming up here. You guys are on your bye week next week, or this week. You draw Fort Stockton. It's quite a haul. I think a lot of people may not necessarily realize that. And then you talk about 3 teams at the top of a district that are going to test you down the stretch with Seminole, Monahans, and Greenwood. When you take a look at your district, how do you kind of evaluate what you're going to be up against the rest of the way?
I know there's those 3 teams are coached by some great coaches, and we know that year in, year out, those guys are going to be great. And I hadn't paid a whole much attention to them. We're just really trying to take this thing week by week, but I know they're going to be a test for us, and hopefully this week, this Friday with being our bye week, we'll have a chance to go get some eyes on those guys and see them a little bit in person, and maybe give us a little bit more of an idea about what's coming up in the next few weeks. We're going to approach them, just like anybody else, and take it one game at a time, and do our best to have the best game plan and get our kids the best prepared for those guys.
And finally, Coach, I want to get you in trouble in Sweetwater. So let's talk about the fact that you may have the best stadium resume of anybody in Texas.
This is true.
So you were an assistant at Brownwood, so you coach at Gordonwood Stadium.
Good
beautiful Lord. Gordonwood Stadium.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
You got hired to Sweetwater from Temple, where you coach at beautiful Wildcat Stadium right off 35, one of the meccas of high school football.
Yeah.
Beyond that, you've also coached at Abilene Cooper, so you coached at Shotwell Stadium.
Yes, sir.
And now you're the head coach of the Sweetwater Mustangs, where you coach at I think Max, definitely. I think it's your number 1.
It's my favorite.
It's your favorite stadium in the state. I'm going to ask you got to pick one. If you had to pick one. Like I said, I'm going to get you in trouble.
Oh,
I mean, you can't go wrong.
I got to pick one. No, you can't go wrong. Probably my favorite stadium is the Mustang Bowl, just off the old, the tradition and the stadiums. But as far as maybe atmosphere goes, I think Wildcat Stadium in Temple is. Their fans and their community support there, and it's just a bigger town too,
Sure,
so you get more people. Obviously, you've got more alumni and everything else that kind of come in, and so with that, with those more fans, you get a little bit louder, crazier atmosphere. But but it's definitely, coaching in the bowls
Yeah.
has been outstanding. It's one of the neatest, experiences of my career, and look forward to many more games in there.
And not to mention, your last game that you coached at Temple was at AT&T Stadium.
Yes, sir.
Like, how do you keep doing this? Is your next job going to be for the Atlanta Falcons in their new stadium?
I don't know. We'll see, I guess. You never know what the good Lord's got in store for you. So we'll see what happens.
It is something else. He is Ben McGehee. He is the head coach of the 6-0 Sweetwater Mustangs. Coach, really appreciate your time. Again, congratulations on your hot start, and best of luck the rest of the way.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.